Everyone, I am Clayton Lewis. Recently, I briefly related my story of when I volunteered for Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in 2020 here in my state, Bahia, in Brazil. Where days after taking the second dose of the vaccine, I had the loss of consciousness and paralysis in some parts of my body and uncontrolled convulsions that left me in a coma for around a month for investigation and treatment of what was happening to my body. Since then, trying to control the seizures, I've been forced to take anticonvulsions every day since the clinical trial for the unfortunately for the rest of my life. During the investigation into my uncontrollable seizures due to the mysterious inflammation in my brain that led to my coma, the neurologist gave an inconclusive diagnosis of encephalitis. They couldn't find a cause for this mysterious inflammation because my brain was completely normal before the clinical trial. We did dozens of cerebrospinal fluid test for herpes, which is the main virus responsible for encephalitis in the world. But from the first day until the last day in the hospital, tests were carried out and no herpes was found, which in turn made it clear that it wasn't a herpetic encephalitis. There are even articles reporting cases of post-vaccine encephalitis in a temporal correlation with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. In line with this, studies are being carried out with heavy observers that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine remove herpes from the latent mode and leaves it in an active mode where it attacks our body, as well as there are reports in some recently published articles evaluation the eradication of herpes virus post-vaccine. From the first day I volunteered for Oxford AstraZeneca, I made it clear that I am a type 1 diabetic controlled by physical activity and insulin every single day. I have never smoked, I never used drugs, I never drink alcohol. Not let's analyze it. We currently have 90 million diabetics here in Brazil, some of whom may smoke, drink, or not control their blood sugar at some point, but none of whom have developed encephalitis and inflammation of the brain. I would like you to think for a moment what is the difference between me, that I am diabetic, and then other diabetic, because the neurologist and endocrinologist I spoke to have never seen a diabetic with encephalitis since the beginning or their carriers. Currently, as I reported earlier, I am in a lawsuit against the Oxford, AstraZeneca, Rede, owner of the most of the hospitals here in the capital of my state, and Hospital São Rafael, one of the most involved in the clinical trial in my state. Unfortunately, the parties accepted and who refused to assume their responsibilities and not due to the thousands of lawyers and people who have been following our cases since the beginning. My lawsuit has been placed under wraps here in Brazil. It is with the thought that I would like to ask for your help. I want you to share my videos so that I can meet other volunteers who had an adventure event during the clinical trial or days or weeks after the doses. I am the first volunteer in Brazil against Oxford, AstraZeneca, Rede, and São Rafael. Here in my state, I want to inspire other volunteers to pursue the responsibility of the Oxford, AstraZeneca, and the other involved in the clinical trial. As a curiosity, Anvisa has the same function as the Food and Drug Administration or European Medicines Agency or Health Canada here in Brazil. Anvisa packaged leaflet on the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, also called AZG 1222 or Shadox 1 or Covishield or Vaxzevria in the world, is a new drug. Sorry, I will translate for you. Despite the clinical trial proving the vaccine efficacy and acceptable safety, unexpected and unpredictable adverse events can occur. I emphasize in all my statement that I am not anti-vaccine and I don't want to foment political issues. I just want you to help me be by sharing my video, the Brazilian justice to fulfill its role and other volunteers that I don't know and if they have had an event such as encephalitis or others can come after this just too. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention to my case report.